Whether you want to go to tier 3 for the best loot, or you just don't want to die to invisible zombies, today we're taking a look at your gameplay and giving you the best tips and tricks for MW3 Zombies. Let's get started. If you want to submit your gameplay for me to review in a video, check the link in the description and join my Discord, then scroll all the way down to the zombie gameplay coaching channel and upload your video there. Our first game comes from this subscriber with this name that I cannot pronounce, and it's one of the most interesting games that I've ever seen. Starting things off, we're playing 2 players here, nothing much to say about that. However, notice this backpack right here. Look at this rucksack. And I do apologize, this is the highest quality that I can get here. What do you notice about this rucksack? This player is absolutely stacked. Bloodburner keys, Scorcher, legendary ether tool, sigil, mags of holding, golden armor, all the good stuff. But what beautiful people, what do you see is missing? This person doesn't have any perks equipped. As you'll see, the theme of today's episode is fundamentals. It could seem really exciting to have all of these really fun things, a Scorcher case, Casimir's, Etherblade, golden armor, all of the best loot from the classified schematics. However, when going into tier 3 and when facing zombies in just regular combat, perks are also an essential piece of the puzzle. And that's something we'll see very much later on as well. But as you can see right now, well, actually, you can't. This is the main problem with this game right here. You can see the graphics settings are all sorts of weird. I've never seen anything like this before. There's textures not loading in. The zombie textures at first were loaded in, but as we progress through the map, you can see that they're gonna be invisible. Now, I'm not sure the exact moment. It's around a minute or a little bit over a minute in when you could see here in the top left corner here in the minimap, the exfils are going to spawn in very soon. Right there, boom. Now, I've been told that if you quit the game, like pause, exit game, quit back to the lobby before those exfils come in, you will not lose your stuff. And I actually have a little bit of proof of this. I actually did this to save my containment level. I loaded in a game, I had a containment level of 0, which I knew wasn't true, so I just immediately exited the game, returned to the lobby, had all my stuff, re-infilled in, I had my containment level, all of my armor plates and all the stuff that I should have had. And so when you have a situation like this player does, where you notice, hey, zombie textures aren't loading, door textures aren't loading, things don't look the way they seem, you might want to consider, before you pop all of your amazing stuff, Etherblade, golden armor, and Scorcher, before you do all of that, maybe walk around in the map a little bit, see if there's any packet bursts going on. I've had games where packet bursts were absolutely terrible, so just do that, make sure before the exfils spawn in, see if the map is actually worth playing. That's not exactly what we should be doing in 2024, but hey, that's what we're gonna have to do here. Now you can also see right away, we are straight in to tier 3. And as you can see, you can't see the zombies, which is just unfortunate. So they made the decision to play on and continue on even during this game, which, I mean, you've popped all of your stuff, that's perfectly fine. It's just probably gonna be a ton harder. Now, even though this player has the Scorcher and the Scorcher is really fun and really good, he also has a regular weapon, and without any perks, that is actually going to be pretty darn difficult. And obviously being hit by invisible zombies doesn't help either. But going into tier 3 with no Juggernog, no Deadshot, no Stamina Up, Speed Cola, it is tough. And here we have a situation where we've got to fight an invisible Mega Abomination, throwing our Etherblade randomly hoping to kill the zombies. Yeah, it's not exactly a good situation, and there you go. But I would wager, even if this player had all of their perks and could actually see this Mega Abomination, going straight up to the Mega Abomination and just shooting it in the face, probably not the best strategy. In fact, this Etherblade is something that I've gone back and forth with on whether or not I like, because when it comes to these Mega Abominations, Thermites actually work a lot better than Etherblades do. And because we have a regular kind of normal bullet weapon here with the MP7, you have to weigh your options. How much is that Etherblade really gonna help you out? Do you really need those extra 3 or 4 kills as you're shooting with your gun? It's not necessarily necessarily correct or incorrect, it's just something to take note of. Now, towards the end of this Mega Abomination, as you just saw, this player decides to throw their Juggernaut to try to take out the Mega Abomination, and they do so successfully. Right here, you can see finally they finish it up. Unfortunately, their teammate goes down, and unfortunately, their teammate is also invisible. And it's at this point in time, I imagine they're incredibly frustrated and upset with the game. They're trying to configure their game settings, and I think they're just gonna head out of here. Fast forwarding to the end of the game, they've called in an exfil. As you can see, more textures just aren't loaded in. This player's just kind of sitting here on the balcony waiting, throwing their ether blade occasionally, and then once they decide to jump down into this pit of nothingness, I think they die through the helicopter blades. I'm not entirely sure, but you might think, oh my goodness, all hope is lost. Check out what these players do. Look at them. They're crawling, slowly crawling, and then all of a sudden, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh no, what's gonna do? Look, they're containment level 502. And then as you can see, they get on the helicopter, the invisible helicopter, and they successfully exfil. What a crazy, crazy game. Moving on to our second game by Frades, I believe. Take a look at this loadout. We've got an epic ether tool, a couple perks, a pack-a-punch crystal, and as you can see on the far right, we have 2 legendary ether tools, golden armor, and an ether blade. I believe this player is saving those 4 slots, those 2 legendary tools, all the classified stuff, as an extension of their stash. They said they wanted this game to kind of camo grind a little bit and then just kind of dip their toes into tier 3, which I think is a phenomenal way of doing that. Just kind of casually going into tier 3 a little bit, not making it a big ordeal. Absolutely love it. I will say though, you can see we have this push dagger here. I think it's called the Gladiator. Not a bad choice for a secondary because in tier 3, you're going to have it out. You're going to be running super fast, but also you have to ask yourself, how valuable is this secondary weapon? Me personally, I usually never run secondary weapons. I always run out with my fists. I always find that to be a little bit more manageable than having a second weapon, even if that second weapon is a knife, because I believe this, and at the very end of the game at the exfil, those were the only kills we're going to see this guy get with that push dagger. And we're going to fast forward to the first contract this player does here. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but on a controller, I believe if you have Deadshot, which this player does, if you continuously aim down sights and unaim down sights, it should snap your aim onto the critical headshots, I guess critical shots of the enemy. So when we're aiming at the zombies, especially once we get to tier 3, utilizing Deadshot to be as accurate as possible so we can maximize our damage is going to be a huge fundamental aspect of tier 3 and really all of zombies here. And this is a great example of that principle not really being utilized. He's actually, he's manually aiming, as weird as that sounds to do, but look, every time he aims down sights or they re-aim down sights, he gets a little bit more accurate here. Now, this gameplay continues for quite a bit before we gather up the courage to go to tier 3. We do another contract, cargo delivery, and all that stuff. But finally, we're heading into tier 3, and we're gonna decide to go to Pack-a-Punch, which is awesome. We have enough for tier 3 Pack-a-Punch because he's got the containment level, and we're gonna use this little zipline launcher here. But if we pause it right here, do you see what I see? There's actually a couple things. First things first, looking at the minimap, there's actually an ether tear. Now, ether tears get you way, way, way higher in the map than those redeploy drones actually do. So while this is good to redeploy and go into tier 3, as you can see, we're not gaining that much elevation. And especially because we don't have a triple pack-a-punch gun yet, you're going to need to handle zombies a little bit better. You're going to have a little bit more confidence to handle these zombies. It's not a bad thing. It's just something that I try to pay attention to. Is there a better way to enter tier 3 that's minimal risk? That's what you got to do in these high rounds and these high threat level areas. Minimize the risk. I love this path. Pulling out the push dagger here, pulling out your fists, absolutely love it. Trying to maximize your speed, because what you may have also noticed is that this player does not have stamina up again. This is absolutely huge. We're also going to triple pack-a-punch our weapon because we got the containment levels, which is awesome. We're going to start killing tier 3 zombies, getting comfortable with that. Look at that. Epic rarity weapon, triple pack-a-punch, takes care of them super well. But not having stamina up is a huge, huge detriment. Movement, getting away from zombies, spacing is really the core mechanic in zombies. Spacing. It's a little bit of movement, a little bit of strategy, but it's spacing. And over here, actually, this is one of my favorite areas. This is one of the areas where Beebs and I actually got used to tier 3. But as you can see, we're being hit from behind by some super sprinters here. We're going to have to take care of them. Look at how quickly they catch up without stamina. And again here, if we're using our dead shot, maximally, we need to be aiming down sights over and over and over again in order to get here. And a bold decision, just clearing out these caches right next to a Mega Abomination. Now, this is where we're gonna see a little bit of tips come into play here. We are just stone cold facing, boom, Mega Abomination dead. We don't have stamina, but we also don't have Juggernog. We are actually lower health in tier 3 than we could be. That is a huge deficit. And this is where that fundamental comes into play of priorities. What are we going to prioritize? Are we going to prioritize fighting this Mega Abomination and trying to get its loot, whatever that may be? Or do we need to loot some extra points here, go to the Wonder Fizz machine and pick up Stamina Up and pick up Juggernog and Quick Revive and Speed Cola and all that good stuff. Now, this player's movement is actually not too bad. I love putting the gazebo in between you and the Mega Abomination. I think that's absolutely great. But another missed opportunity here, look at their equipment. Oh, there you go. There you go. They just threw their first decoy. This is right next to an ammo refill station. Abuse your decoys, throw them, spam them. You've got a whole minute cooldown on them. Get the zombies off your chest so you can focus strictly on the Mega Abomination. And just like this, Mega Abomination is distracted underneath. We got all the zombies coming up. This is excellent. Once you clear out all of these zombies, you're going to get tons of armor, tons of ammo, and you're going to have a lot less zombies. This is a really good strategic decision. Obviously, got to deal with those little retchlings, but now we are in a much better place to deal with this Mega Abomination. And as you're gonna see, when you're in an elevated position, the Mega Abomination can't reach you, so it's going to be forced to shoot you, which is the best thing you want from a Mega Abomination, so that way you can either throw a thermite in their face, shoot their face, or block them from that elevated position. But luckily he had some teammates come over, kind of save the day from him a little bit here, but overall really good coaching points there. Now once we enter in here, he is going to accept the request of these other players and take a look at that. Actually, let's review that, because that's actually a point that I wanted to make here. Look at this. Do you notice something at the end of this interaction? Check this out. This is actually something this player I think really needs to work on here. So we get done fighting this Mangler by the skin of our teeth right here, and once this battle is completed, look at this player's armor. They are depleted. Absolutely no armor on whatsoever. And there's plenty of armor to go around. Look, we need to reload, and look at how quickly, without Jug, 1 hit, 2 hit. You are a 2-hit kill without Jug in tier 3, without armor as well. Now luckily we get a new squad mate. I believe they healing aura him and everything turns out to be okay. And there we go. Which also, speaking of healing aura as a solo player, personally, I wouldn't recommend. I would recommend something like Energy Mine, Ether Shroud, Frenzied Guard, Tesla Storm, really anything other than Healing Aura. Healing Aura is a really good support role when you have a team, like in the example that we just saw there, reviving your teammates, but as a personal player, you want to protect yourself, especially as you're learning tier 3. So something like, especially Tesla Storm, or I would recommend Ether Shroud to just get all the zombies away from you. For example, right now, Healing Aura is not going to do too much, but if you Ether Shrouded, it would get this Disciple off you, it would get these zombies from stop cornering you here, and it would just make your life a whole lot easier. Because just like that, we are down yet again. Now, you might believe, hey, there's a contract going on in here, because you see the purple crystals here, you see all of these enemies, and there might be a contract going on, like these new teammates might actually be doing the Outlast contract, but our player here doesn't have the contract going on. So you have to question, there again, we're not plating up. There we go. We got to plate up. We got to do that. We don't got Jug. We got to be really conscious of our health here. But there you go. We have a new contract, that HVT, that bounty. So what might have happened was they might have been farming kills, or joining that party might have canceled that contract. So now this is just an infinite tier 3 Outlast, which is really tough to do. So right now, I'm asking myself, why is this player still here? What is compelling this player to stay in this area? Urzikstan is such a huge, wide open map. You can walk out right behind you, can walk out the front door, jump out that window, and you have such a wide open space. You do not need to fight this fight. Let's get out of here. And eventually we figure that out. Eventually we go out of here, and finally, aha, we can just go team up with our teammates and actually go fight this HVT that we're supposed to be fighting with our team. But as you can see, now that we're outside right here, it's pretty calm. It's pretty chill. There's nothing too bad. And you can just keep backpedaling a little bit, shoot the zombies, and just like this, you're kind of okay. But also, when you join a team, you do want to be a team player. This team is all the way across the map dealing with an HVT disciple, and our player right now is just kind of shooting zombies in the middle of tier 3 with no real goal, rhyme, or reason to. And so now they've completed the contract thanks to no help to this teammate. This teammate, or our player right now has 10,000 points. Hey, let's go to the Wonder Fizz. Let's go help out our teammate and see what perks we can get, see what good stuff we can get. All right, we accepted this escort contract and our player has yet to look at the reward rift here. Again, love the movement, love the taking your fists out, taking your melee weapon out. Absolutely love it. And look at that loot. That is great loot. Another legendary weapon, an epic weapon, and a sigil. That is great loot if you ask me. And then we look in here, check this out. Look, somebody left a self-revive and a, self-revive and a turret circuit. Isn't that so great? Now, this player, really well, good decision here. He takes the self-revives instead of the rare ether tool. That is definitely more valuable right now. And then we're right close to the Wonder Fizz. Oh my goodness. Okay, hey, look, now we got 2 perks that just got lucky. Cool, stamina up, death perception, awesome. And we are not buying Juggernog. Why? Why aren't we getting more health? Why aren't we getting I don't know what else is there. Quick revive, you know, that's going to be really good. Yes, it's good that we're dealing with our mimics and we're trying to stay alive here, but there's other game mechanics that are definitely more important right now. And spoiler alert, they never actually grab Jug. And this escort contract is pretty standard, especially with 3 people. There's really not a whole lot of difficulty here. I will say we throw a Casimir here, which normally I think that's pretty fair. I think it's pretty fun to throw a Casimir, except I didn't feel like it was super necessary. Casimirs to me are almost like a get out of jail free card. It's something that I only use when I feel threatened, when I feel stressed and nervous, and that's honestly probably why this player threw that Casimir. They were feeling stressed, they were feeling nervous. But if we look at the gameplay around here, there's like one zombie there, another zombie there. Sure, there's a disciple, but in reality, there's not a whole lot of zombies in the direction that Casimir was thrown. Now that Casimir that their teammate threw, yeah, that was definitely a good Casimir, just taking out all of those zombies. But over here in the back, it's questionable. It's just one of those decisions that you have to make for yourself. Are you going to use that very, very valuable piece of equipment? Or are you going to save it later for something a little bit more valuable? Now, I actually really like this decision. We're going to swap out this armor plate and we're going to use this instead of Deadshot. We already got Deadshot. Perks aren't super useful or super, they have a short cooldown. So really bringing them into the game is really not too bad. Plus they're pretty cheap in game, especially have a good containment level like this player does. So I actually really like the move of getting a little bit more armor plates, also because we don't have Jug, so I really appreciate that. Now, at the end of this escort contract, this is where things get a little out of hand. You can see we're backed up into this corner here, and we're really hyper focused on zombies here. Now, let me pause it here. Let's go back here and see what the situation is. We're trying to get into a good position. We're trying to get up and shoot all the zombies we can, kind of take them out. But this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying the fundamental of zombies is spacing. Look at the situation we're in. We've got a horde of zombies over here, and just moments ago, as we're going over here, you can see there's a little bit of a horde of zombies over here. So this player's probably pretty nervous. Hey, I got zombies behind me. I got zombies in front of me. What am I gonna do? What do you see about this picture right here? There's a decision to be made right now. What does this player decide to do? They decide to throw a Casimir. Now, is that a good decision? Absolutely. Is it the right decision for this moment? Well, unfortunately not. But looking back at this, Donuts, what would you have done? Well, right here, you could see there is a completely open lane right here. This player can super sprint right out of here, tack sprint right out of here, jump over this ledge, and again, it would be a lot easier if they had Juggernog, be a lot easier if they had Quick Revive, but I believe there was more of a chance for this player to sprint over here and jump over this post than there was time to throw this Casimir. Because when you throw a Casimir, you slow down so much, and there you go, one hit, two hit. Also, there is also an argument to be made that right here, once you hear that armor crack, you could, again, press and hold triangle to get another armor plate on you. I don't know, that to me probably is about the same time as a Casimir. I would have jumped over that because ultimately, as we're watching this, your teammate is close to the ACV. What's the point in you right now being confined to this road? Why can't you go take a longer route? Why can't you go further away from where the entire horde of zombies is at? Get out of there, get away, give yourself space between you and that huge horde. And that's the sort of thing that is incredibly difficult to teach. That only comes by all of these downs, by all the times downing, looking at this footage going, hey, what was the opportunity I could have done to do something better or different? Now, actually, as we're down here, this teammate actually makes a little mistake here. So you can see the contract is ending. It has that little, energy mine effect. And this teammate right here thinks, oh, we're clear, we're good. Unfortunately, that energy mine effect doesn't kill all of the zombies. And what do you know, the teammate gets down too, doesn't get the self-revive, has to get revived by healing aura or the dog or whatever that was over there. Now, as we're getting picked up here from this healing aura, take a look at what this player does. What's the first thing this player does? Okay, we're gonna go straight over to the reward station. Well, first of all, look at that. We've got a recipe here. We've got a schematic, right? But what do you notice? What do you notice? Yep, there you go. All of this time that we were down and then we get back up, armor plate, you're still a two-shot, armor plate. I know it's really fun, the reward rift, oh my goodness, it's like a supply drop, what's the good in here, another sigil, we got a recipe, a schematic, but you need to armor plate first. Take care of the zombies in the area, make sure you're clear, make sure you're reloaded, you have the armor, and then go in and look at the reward rift. Again, fundamentals of zombies, priorities. What are you focusing on at what moment? Moving on, we have an HVT contract that our teammates are mostly done with. We're all shooting it. It's all pretty standard. But as you can see, this player is doing a really smart decision, trying to throw a thermite into the mouth of it. But unfortunately, teammates are kind of distracting, and it's a little hard to do when the Mega Abomination's a little distracted. If you didn't know, I don't know if you know this, but if you go to throw a thermite or any sort of grenade, usually if you get it propped open like this and you're just waiting for it, you can switch weapons and it'll actually cancel out that grenade. So if you don't want to throw this thermite because you don't have a clear shot, you could just change your weapon and that should get rid of that thermite, or save that thermite, I should say. And again, when dealing with Mega Abominations, this player is going to try to throw another thermite on the head, but I think the thermite trick only works when the head is exposed to critical damage, because as you saw right there, the head wasn't open, he tried to throw it in there. I don't think, even if you landed that, I don't think it would have worked because the mouth wasn't open, exposed. And then looking in the reward rift, look at that, we got a wonder weapon. I don't want to hear a single thing from any of you beautiful people about Donuts, you have streamer luck, Donuts, how do you have the best luck ever? This is just a random sub. They got a legendary ether tool, epic tool, 2 sigils, a schematic, and we just got a wonder weapon. All right, it's not just me. You guys can have this luck too. I'm just saying. Now, at this point in time, something happens. We ping this ammo station. I like that we're going to go get ammo. I don't like how we're so close to the Wonder Fizz with like a million bajillion points and we're not getting all of our perks here. But unfortunately, those other players have left our squad. Now, I don't want to say because, this player's not being a team player, but I definitely have had the thought of, hey, I joined this squad and this guy is across the map doing other things when I'm trying to do these contracts. So I can definitely see maybe that was it. I don't think that's it. I think what really is the case is that those 2 players kind of just wanted to go do their own thing. That's zombies. That's kind of how zombies is. So I wouldn't think too much of that, but it's something to take note of. Just kind of a courtesy or a good etiquette, you could say, of zombies here. Now, I love this decision. This player is like, hey, you know what? It's just kind of a casual game. I want to take on this mega abomination, but this is also another fundamental of zombies is priorities. What do you want from this fight? What is your goal of this fight? And what are you going to do to be successful? What does success look like in this moment here? So right now we're on top of this rooftop. This mega abomination is kind of glitched out. And if you ask me, this is kind of like the perfect spot for everything. Those zombies are going to come up onto the roof single file from that one ladder spot. We've already got the mega abomination like a quarter of the health down, and none of the heads are popped yet, which is awesome because it means we could just sit up here and we could just shoot. Those heads are going to expose randomly. Look at that. We're already a third of the way there. This is going to be the easiest mega abomination kill. Well, this is not good. Okay, so now we're being shot at. Now the mega abomination sees us. Our armor's popped now. We're trying to good cover behind the chairs here. But again, why did we jump down from that? I know it was kind of annoying. I know it wasn't as fast as possible. But again, fundamentals here, patience, especially in the tier 3 zone. Patience. Things are going to take a lot longer than they do in tier 2, a whole lot longer than they do in tier 3. I understand the move here of trying to get closer onto this umbrella, but ultimately, once this mega abomination sees us, it's going to be doing that. And as you can see right now, we are out of armor plates. And now this mega abomination, yes, it's got a couple heads down. We're super close. You do have 2 thermites you could use during this weak spot. We're super close, but unfortunately we fall back down again, and this mega abomination is going to see us again, and it's not going to turn out very well. But so far, not in a bad position. It's actually reversed now. The mega abomination has the advantage here. And as you can see, with no cover in between you and the mega abomination, no distance between you and the mega abomination, and that's an easy down there. Now we're left with no armor plates, which is absolutely terrifying. Good job taking cover closer to the thing. That was a good dive. That was pretty darn clutch right there. But unfortunately, the electricity from that retchling kind of caused you to down a little bit there. But again, what are you prioritizing now? Do you want to really finish this mega abomination? This is a good throw if I remember correctly. Yeah, look at that. That was a good throw right there. Do you want to finish that mega abomination, or do you want to go out and kind of train some zombies? Do you want to go to the buy station, get some armor plates? And again, you haven't thrown a decoy. So if zombies were your issue, throw that decoy. Get the zombies out of there. Get the zombies in one contained area. And this is, again, another great example of why I would prefer something like, Ether Shroud or look at that epic Ether tool, like an energy mine or something, so that way you can kill zombies. Because Healing Aura right now, I don't think you've used Healing Aura, and I don't think it's helped you at all during this game. But luckily, hey, we went down, we got no self-revives left. We just picked up some armor plates, and I believe as we're flying out of tier 3, I actually do like this idea for flying out of tier 3. It's one of the best things you could do if you feel overwhelmed. Just jump out over the side, go into the river. It's one of the safest things you could do if you're overwhelmed in tier 3. Great job retreating there. We put on some armor plates. Great job. And now we are going to make our way to the buy station. I believe we're going to buy a self-revive just in case. Yeah, we're going to buy a self-revive, and then we're going to make our way, I believe, to the exfil. Yes, we are. But we do need to work on those fundamentals. Look at the perk loadout that you have. We never bought Quick Revive. We never bought Jug. Look at how many points we have, and we didn't buy all of the perks. That's a huge deficit. That makes the game so much harder. I guarantee you a lot of those downs would not have happened with Juggernaut, because you would have had the time to throw that Casimir. You would have had the time to shoot the Mega Abomination a little bit longer. And then with your spacing, make sure you're putting enough distance in between you and the zombies. Make sure you're not just sitting around inside that stronghold for no reason, inside that road for no reason. You don't need to be around the zombies to kill the zombies. But like I said, successful exfil here, what sort of stuff did we get here? Now remember, we did use those kind of 4 last slots as an extension of the stash, but like an additional legendary ether tool, 2 more epic tools, that is a very successful tier 3 run. Now, if you want to see another surprisingly successful tier 3 run, be sure to check out this video and stay beautiful.